All right, quick live today. Wanted to do a quick video. I will spend some time and I'll go over something that came up actually based on a buddy of mine, Rob Hanley. Shout out to you, man. He brought up this concept of workhorses versus show ponies. And I read an article recently about Dan Bilzerian, and one of the things that I was wrong about before with cannabis was the idea that when it comes to selling drugs, the most important thing that you needed right now was a brand. But and don't forget to hit the like button as you pop in, please. So one of the things that one of the things that I feel like, and I still feel like this is the case, but it's interesting to see this Dan Bilzerian thing, where essentially he's lost $50 million in their first year of operation. And some people liken it to the tech industry and think, oh, well, that's not a big deal. Tech companies lose money all the time. Well, when it comes to businesses that are, number one, in agriculture, because this is an agricultural business, and then on the other side is a consumer brand. This isn't like a SaaS business. With SaaS, there's not, and we're doing a deal in the SaaS business right now. The awesome thing is that the upside is huge because you pay a cost one time and you don't have any other costs that are associated to run that business after that point. When you're selling a consumer brand or a hard product, you really do need to make money as you're growing that business. It's not a business that's just endlessly scalable. For a business that's in, especially mobile SaaS, you can at any point grow, triple, quadruple, just endlessly grow that business. And you may need a few more servers, but everybody with a phone is capable of downloading your app. So it was interesting to kind of read about some of the things that they've been doing in Dan's business, and also to compare it with some of the other things that are happening in private equity and just business in general. So you compare Dan, who has a massive, massive brand. And I think, we're living in a time right now where brand is the most important thing. Being an influencer is really important. And it's one of the reasons that I love what Ty is doing. And, you will have noticed that he's not really advertising any, like he was before when it comes to info marketing and all that. And then, I talked to him about this when he was first starting in private equity. And the idea was, dude, like, just there's no comparing the info marketing game to finance or to private equity. Like, the upside is so much bigger. And the need even for some to try to sell a bunch of info marketing is just a lot lower when you're leveraging the brand in private equity as opposed to leveraging it to try to sell somebody some coaching program or some seminar or whatever. So it's been cool to see his transition into now all of the marketing is just to find accredited investors. And it's building a system around how do I find these great investors? How do I find really great deals? How do I acquire those deals, grow them, exit, and then do that over and over again? And it becomes a business system, which is what I'm always encouraging you guys to do as well. It's not about going out and finding a single deal. It's about building a business buying business. Now, again, when you go back to the Dan case of number one, just being in the drug business, you shouldn't really have an unprofitable business that sells drugs. It's like, I got some friends I went to school with. It's like, I went to a really great high school. I got a scholarship to a private school, but before that, and I still am friends with some of the guys I went to elementary and middle school with, and they could really help Dan out to be able to make their drug business more profitable. But when you compare those two different directions, I think that's the interesting thing. Ty had a major brand, huge famous. You know, I remember walking. It was interesting walking around. I went and spoke at one of a couple Ty's things back when he was heavy into the info marketing seminar and all that stuff. And it was so interesting that this info guy, we would walk around in LA and this dude would be recognized. It was very interesting. It was cool. Um, and like obviously Dan is just this major brand. So you see, Ty is getting into private equity and is doing some really cool things there, taking over some major brands and making money. And then you compare what Dan is doing, leveraging his brand. Their main source of income was leveraging his brand. They had two sources of income. It was investors and loans. And unfortunately, the 50 million that wasn't invested, it wasn't like, okay, we're investing 5 million a month and, the income goes from 1 million the first month to 2 million and eventually, starts making some money. It's like 50 million invested and the revenue has not grown at all after raising all that capital from people. By the way, be sure to hit the like button as you guys come in. So comparing those two is really interesting. But then, the third person that I want to compare those to is the founder of Uber, Travis Kalanick. And he's got a new business. The new business is cloud kitchens. And it's this whole concept that I've talked to you guys about. We're helping a guy on a deal that he's taking over a restaurant in a no money down deal. And he's in a situation where he'll create one of these, but there's just so much upside. And, 90% of you have obviously heard of Dan, you've heard of Ty, but you don't know what Travis, you don't know anything about this cloud kitchen business. And it's by design. In both of his businesses, sorry, I'll turn off that notification for you guys. In both of his businesses, Uber and this new business, he literally did the opposite of what you see in the other two cases, where instead of trying to build a personal brand, he really focused on how do I build a really great product? How do I get it to $1 billion before I tell anybody about it? And so obviously that worked. He had actually a business that before Uber that worked, Uber, and now he's doing it in cloud kitchen. And he's purposefully, this is quickly, it's literally triple digit month over month growth, triple digit month over month growth in this business without an Instagram post, without a press release, without most people knowing that it even exists. And that's where, that business already is much bigger, obviously, than Dan's, growing much faster than even taking over in Ty's case. And it's a testament to the fact that you think about this concept that I mentioned from Rob. You've got to decide, do you want to be a workhorse or do you want to be a show pony? And that's what Travis really honed in on. He understands like, hey, I'm just going to be a workhorse, man. Like I'm going to get into a business. It's one of the things that got him in trouble. Uber was that he's like, hey, there's no such thing as a obstacle. Like I'm going to run through every single obstacle. And some of those obstacles are legit, but nobody else could have built that business because one of the biggest obstacles was like the law. And, even here in South America, like Uber literally breaks the law. In America, in a bunch of cities before they worked it out, they were breaking the law. But that's his attitude is I'm going to be a workhorse. I'm going to do whatever it takes. And I don't need anybody to know what I'm doing. I don't need anybody to know what I'm up to. I'll just work until it grows. Even in my businesses, it's interesting because I have businesses that are in the portfolio. And I'll get businesses, even, we'll do royalties on deals and that kind of thing. And I'll have a business say, oh, like, Why don't you promote us on your Instagram? I have a tiny Instagram. Shout out to Brendan Carter. Hopefully, we had a great conversation yesterday. He's got like 1 million followers between all his things, and we're looking at doing something in the private equity space, which I think is an awesome concept. But when my following is like nothing, compared to a guy like him. But well, number one, it's the right people. So, it's good to have the people like the ties. But when I'm talking to a business and they want me to promote, it's like, how sustainable is that as a strategy? Like, okay, so we get a few more customers from this. I'm not as interested in that as how do we make this a scalable business that grows? Anytime somebody's like, oh, like, tell your friends and family. And even when it comes to raising capital or trying to put together a deal and do an acquisition, like I'm not into, I've never really been into raising capital from friends and family, to be quite honest. And we have a lot of clients that do that. And, it's if you absolutely have to, then that's what, but you really never have to. But it's always made me feel like, okay, we're really built. This is this a multi-level marketing thing where you need me to tell somebody about what I'm doing, and my reasoning behind that is that that's not a system. Like getting a friend to tell somebody else isn't a scalable business model unless you want to be in multi-level marketing. If you want to be in multi-level marketing, then that is your business model. You're like, hey, I got to convince all my friends to tell their friends, and then that's what our business model is. But I think that one of the reasons that I love and I really do spend time trying to research behind the scenes of the guys like Travis, while most people are the more famous people like the Gary V's, is that when Travis sees a problem, it's like, okay, how do we systematically overcome this obstacle, even if it's breaking the law, literally. Even if it's breaking the law, they had systems, and that's what got him in trouble because he was like, okay, we need a system where in every city we know it's this, and this, and that's how we break the law, and that's how we build this, and so it's something to be aware of, and it's almost good just to say like, no, I'm just not gonna do that. I'm not gonna be in a multi-level marketing business. I'm not gonna try to sell, try to convince my friends and family to do something. I'm gonna figure out how to build systems that solve every problem in my business so that I build an actual business. A great movie to see somebody who just, like everything was a system is Founder, about Ray Kroc and McDonald's, because there wasn't a thing where it's like, oh, like we're just gonna do brute force, or even like the hustle and grind thing and all these things that are famous now. It's like, dude, like, no, build a system. You shouldn't be having to wake up every single day. You should be building systems that do the whole you and tackle those problems. It shouldn't just be sheer grit. Like, oh, I'm just gonna keep fighting this until the very end. It should be that you're getting systems in place in every aspect of business, and it makes it very tough. It makes it very tough when I'm trying to do business because all of those other concepts are being promoted by the famous entrepreneurs that this other way of doing business is smart, that it is just no, like go and tackle and do and spend your energy as much as possible, and it just doesn't build a great business. I'll answer a couple questions and then I will bounce out of here. Just want to do that quick thought. Again, shout out to Rob. That was really initiated by the whole workhorse versus show pony concept. Daryl Cooper, what's up, homie? I'm filling my pipeline with home healthcare business with nurse agent, researching you. Once I have a great deal, awesome, man. And absolutely do it. Reach out. I love hearing about different deals out in space. Silver Fox Forest Investments. What is up? Blessings and good morning. Good morning to you. John J. Good morning. Thanks for popping on. All right. hopefully that was valuable for you guys, and I will talk to you soon.